I want to get away from this state so badly. I cannot stand it.
Then leave, you coward. Ugh. Phenomenal. All right. All right. So if anybody's ever watched a bit of the show before, if you've seen kind of, I think the last conversation I had with a viewer, I've been talking a little bit more frequently about gun control, gun violence, and gun policy, or I guess policy around firearms. With that, a big part of my argument is the societal cost that we pay to our relationships with firearms. There are legal arguments that I will leave to lawyers. What I'm concerned primarily with is the cost that we pay as citizens, as members of this society, for the proliferation of gun ownership in the United States. This is a uniquely American problem, or at the very least, I should say, it is a uniquely American phenomenon that so much of our population owns firearms. I believe it's 30%. It's one of the highest firearm. Actually, let me take a look. I don't actually have the numbers on that. Let's see. Country by gun ownership rate? Sure. Yeah, that seems good. Let's see. All right. According to Wikipedia, we are the leading country in the United States of 120.5 firearms per 100 people, meaning that for every 100 people, there is an excess of 20 and a half guns for each of those people, which is kind of crazy since the next country is apparently the Falkland Islands, to which they have just above half of us in terms of gun ownership. The same metric at 62.1, Yemen at 52.8, New Caledonia at 42.5, Serbia at 39.1, Montenegro at 39.1, Canada at 34.7, Uruguay at 34.7, Cyprus at 34, and Finland at 32.4. So when we say gun ownership is when we look at gun ownership rates and we talk about the disproportionate nature of gun ownership in the United States, this is what we mean. We essentially double the ownership rate of the next most of the next country on that list. So keep that in mind. So with that, I want to take a look really quickly. Let's see how many lives that it has cost us as of right now. In today, that has cost us 1, 2, 3 deaths and 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 injuries, 2 deaths. That's the I'm thinking maybe from now on we'll do like a little kill count for each day, kill streak maybe. But that on just today, that is the cost of firearms in this country. You can make an argument that you're okay with that, and that would be fine. But that is the cost. So, moving ahead. Moving on to, and I guess kind of this is, obviously tangentially, or maybe not even, directly related to this. Washington is looking to become the 10th state to ban assault weapon sales. Let's take a look really quick here. Let me put this on dark mode. There we go. Washington is set to become the 10th state. What's the other 9? I'm kind of curious. 9 states laws: California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York. Okay, I think I looked at this. Gun violence rates. Yes. Yes. Okay, this is what I wanted. I remember we looked at this. Can I get a chart? All right, death rate. Let's do this. No, I want this one. All right, this is from lowest death rate to highest. What are those states again? Hit me with it. California. Let's see, where's California on here? At 9. We already saw Massachusetts. Actually, can I, here, let's do this. No, not that. That's not what I wanted. Let's do this. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right, cool. Let's see, death rate. There we go. Okay, cool. Sorry, I know. All right, so we got California pretty low on here at 9. Connecticut's, can you go away? Let's see, is Connecticut in the red? Doesn't seem like it. Where's Connecticut? Am I like missing? Oh, there it is. Connecticut 5.6. Delaware. Delaware is Delaware safer end of things. Well, we see Hawaii. Okay. We saw Maryland. Okay. I'm pretty sure Maryland's probably going to be the. Okay, Delaware's at 16.6. There it is. I was kind of wondering where that was. What did we say? Maryland. Let's see. Is Maryland up there? Maryland is not in the red. Maryland is no way. Oh my god, my fucking. It's probably because I'm scrolling. I can't like. Oh, there it is. Okay, Maryland 15.2. Massachusetts we know is the safest in terms of death rate due to gun, and New Jersey and New York. So something that I talk about a lot, or at the very least, a point that I always want to make is passing laws to ban these weapons puts you, the most dangerous one of these is, I believe, Delaware at 16.6 in terms of death rate by gun. That is the highest one in terms of danger. We're talking 15.2 for Maryland, everything else below that. Compared to the worst state, which is double the number, I believe actually just a little bit shy of double the number, because what is that? That's 16.6, so that's, no, that is double, because what is that? That's about 32 and some change. This is at 33, you know, depending on the percentages. But the worst state, what this tells me is that these bans have, in effect, halved the gun violence in these states. Keep in mind, none of the states that they listed here, California, huge populous state. Connecticut, pretty populous. Delaware, a small state, but obviously somewhere in the most dangerous of them, a smaller state. All right. Hawaii, I don't know what the population is of Hawaii, but not not a large state, not a California, but in terms of population, probably on the lower end. Maryland, kind of probably in the middle. Massachusetts, somewhere in the middle. Jersey, New York, those two are going to be pretty big, especially since both those populations are crossing over a lot. To say that, as they add Washington to this, where is Washington? Washington is already at 11.2. I will be interested to see what effect this gun ban has on that number. Because, again, the most dangerous state of the states that have implemented this, the most dangerous of them, has a gun violence rate, crime rate, that is half of the most dangerous state, that being Mississippi down in the south, followed up closely by Louisiana and then New Mexico and Alabama and all these other very gun-friendly states. I think this demonstrates, I think this is a fair demonstration of what these kinds of legislative moves can have. But let's read, let's read. I just wanted to bring that up because I found that to be kind of in line with what I've been saying. Let's see. AR-15. Okay, to ban the sale of AR-15s and other guns, it classifies as assault weapons. Driving the news. Okay, driving the news. The State House passed the assault weapons sales ban 56 to 42 on Wednesday, sending it to Governor Jay Inslee, who has already said he'll sign the bill into law. The bill previously passed both legislative chambers, but lawmakers then had to agree on amendments. Public officials nationwide have faced increased calls to crack down on semi-automatic military-style firearms like AR-15s, which have been linked to some of the deadliest mass shootings in the United States in the past decade. An AR-15 was used in last month's deadly school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, as well as last year's school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. The shooter, who killed 3 people and wounded another at a 2016 house party in Mukilteo in, oh my God, someplace, also used an AR-15. I am not, okay, I don't know, fuck that. The bill defines assault weapons to include more than 50 named types of military-style firearms, plus others with features such as a telescopic scopes or extra hand grips. Okay, so basically, so let's keep in mind, one of the prevailing arguments to gun rights like advocates, right? One of their favorite go-tos, and we saw it in the gun control debate that we had on Tuesday. We saw a demonstration of this where they would say, "Tell me what an assault weapon is," to which, well, that is a designation for a group. Essentially, an assault weapon isn't one kind of weapon. It's what we designate it as, meaning that you could say, and I think and if I remember correctly, I said this to him specifically. The AR-15 platform is what I would write my legislation to be. That platform of firearm could be designated as an assault weapon. You know, if we're going to pass a sweeping assault weapon ban, then you need to define what those are, which it seems like they've done the work of listing out the models, listing out features, all the rest of that stuff. But you know, there's always this like, well, tell me what an assault weapon is. And it's like, well, it kind of depends on what I define as it. If I just say AR-15s and AR-15 style rifles, that encompasses all AR-15 style rifles. So, and then from there, it's like, oh, well, you know, which features, you know, do we allow some that are semi-automatic, or do we not allow some? All of that gets hashed out in the debate process. But yeah, I mean, this stuff can be done. I think this kind of proves that this sort of these sorts of moves can be successful. And again, we will see what effect this has on Washington, you know, writ large as the bill gets signed into law. Now, also, let's see. Keep in mind also, okay, so let's see. The bill won't stop people from owning the weapons if they already have them, which makes sense. You know, I don't think there's really a realistic world, and I've said this before. There's really no realistic mandatory gun buyback program in this country. To me, that is unrealistic as a option, as you that is to me the extreme of gun control that I think is ridiculous and not really worth having a conversation about. The same way the idea of you fighting the government with your AR-15 is ridiculous on the other end. That's absurd. Neither of these two things reckon with reality that, and I think I said this to dude yesterday. If you have an AR-15, guess what? The federal government has drone strikes. They has drones. They will just drone strike your bitch ass. I don't like, this never makes sense. This argument's never made sense to me unless you add in all of these qualifiers and you assume a whole bunch of scenarios and political strife and agreements on to your side. No, I'm sorry, but no, that's not how that's going to work. You know, same with buyback programs. I think buyback programs are just as absurd, just a different kind of absurd, but absurd nonetheless. Let's see. It will ban new sales and distribution of firearms, as well as manufacturing and importing. Exceptions will be made for police agencies and branches of the military. Let's see what they're saying. I don't want to see another life taken in a mass shooting, which won't happen, but you know, you save as many lives as you can. The other side, Republican lawmakers resoundingly opposed the ban, arguing it wouldn't address the underlying causes of gun violence, including people experiencing mental health crises. Cool. Would you like to? So, and this is my issue. All right. Also, yeah, it's another green tea Arizona night. Here's my issue with any Republican, especially any Republican in a governmental position. Show me your support for Medicare for all. Show me your support for any tangible universal healthcare system. You can't. They're just, as a party, they are opposed to it. So for them to throw out, oh well, there's the healthcare aspect of it. Well, that's really nice. I certainly think that is an element. It's not the end all be all element. Unfortunately, one just can't blindly wave or vaguely gesture towards mental health. Every other country has mental health issues. We're not the worst in terms of our mental health issues. What we are is the worst in terms of our mental health issues when it coincides with gun ownership. Go take a look at Japan. Do you remember that guy who shot Shinzo Abe? Do you think think about all the work that guy had to do to create that like homemade firearm, right? Now, Japan does not have the greatest in terms of mental health care rates. So why are they living in a less deadly society? Because they don't have guns freely. Now, again, this is the United States. It's a different context. We are not Japan. But the argument that it's solely the mental health, no, that's not that is a factor and a large factor. But we need to reckon with both ends of this. Let's see. They also said the restrictions would infringe on people's constitutional gun ownership rights. Deal with it. That's my argument to that. Every single day you live with an infringement on at least one of your rights. Every single day. Every single day you're being spied on. Search and Caesar. Every single day, there are people in this country who are told that they are not allowed to yell fire in a crowded room. We live with infringements on our rights because no right really is absolute. There just isn't. So it's kind of the thing. It's if we lived in a society where every right that we were given was an absolute one, we would be in a mess. I think it would absolutely be a mess. I will not vote to take away my family's right to keep and bear arms. See, okay, which that's already stupid because nobody's arguing to take your guns away. If you already own them, you can keep them. They always say this where it's like, oh, well, now it's like, well, no. If you already own an AR-15, what the fuck do you need a new one for? Honest to God. Like, what do you, okay, you already own one. So what are you worried about? What are you worried about a ban for? You already own one. You can already protect your home with it. So what's the problem? We're not coming to take it. Washington already has stricter gun laws than most states, including a voter-approved ban on people under 21 buying assault rifles. God, imagine thinking that's like beyond the pale. Last year, the legislature passed a ban on sales of high-capacity firearm magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. Makes sense. I'm wondering, okay, so high-capacity, pass a ban on high-capacity firearm. Oh, no, I guess high-capacity, yeah, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, you can't, nothing over 10, yeah. Which basically knocks out a lot of AR style rifles. Besides this year's assault weapons ban, Washington lawmakers also passed a bill that will impose a new 10-day waiting period on firearm purchases, as well as require people to complete firearm safety training before they can. Oh my God. See, a lot of this doesn't really do anything if you're a gun owner. Is it inconvenient? Yeah, it's inconvenient. But if you're asking me the trade of inconvenience to save, hundreds of lives a year, I'm actually okay with that. I have no problem with that. Let's see. The ban is set to take place immediately once it's signed by the governor. Man, good for them. Anyway, let's watch like a video on this so we can kind of synthesize this a little bit more. But I really like this. I like waiting periods. I don't think they're They're at worst inconvenient, and at best stop somebody from committing suicide irrationally. So
The bill clearing its final hurdle, passing in the House 56-42, mainly along party lines. One thing the legislation does not ban.
I guess they probably, it always throws me through a loop because I'm like, man, 42, fuck. You know, I get, man, they have like quite a lead then. That's great. That's great.
Its possession, leading more customers to go to gun stores before it becomes law.
Makes sense.
The further sale or importation of this rifle into the state will be banned.
Guns like this will no longer be sold in stores like Pintos Guns in Renton.
Do you get to go to
Washington
ranges?
State lawmakers passing a bill that bans the sale, import, and manufacture of guns defined as assault weapons.
And this is an AR-10, actually made in Tacoma. This is going to affect a local business very drastically. It's going to put a lot of
Deal with it. I'm sorry, but this is one of those, I sympathize, but sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
people out of business.
The legislation would apply to all future sales.
Also,
Gun owners who already own one would
factory
not be
that makes
impacted by
this
the
stuff
law,
can
leading to a
absolutely
rush at the register.
Everybody's trying to get in last minute. We're receiving
can absolutely
orders from out of state, people
make other
shipping
firearms,
and people trying to get their paperwork in prior to this going into effect.
Those against the bill say it's sweeping and more focus
It
needs
is.
to be put on mental health.
I want to get away from this state so badly. I cannot stand it.
Then fucking leave, you coward. Ugh. Fucking bitch ass bitch. Just fucking leave then. Then leave. It's fine. Somebody else can take up your storefront. God damn. The idea also, it's literally banning a category of like assault rifles. Dude, you can sell shotgun. You can sell hunting rifles. It's just this one genre, essentially, of firearms. Like, god damn. Are pistols not enough for you people? I just don't get it. I don't get the need. And this is me personally. I don't get the need or want for an AR-15 like in the home. I don't get it. They like call it liberal, whatever. I just don't get it. At least personally, I like pistols anyway. But it's just so weird. Like
The politics have just driven me away.
It's a huge victory.
But it's something supporters, like Alliance for Gun Responsibility, have been fighting for in Olympia for years.
I was in Olympia the day that it was initially voted off the Senate floor. That was just an incredible and moving moment of history. I will genuinely never forget what that evening felt like.
Backers of the bill say this will save lives, citing a federal study that
It
shows
definitely
if
will.
the federal assault weapons ban stayed in effect, it would have prevented mass shootings.
Until we see DC take
it should have certainly prevented. I don't know if it would have prevented all. Definitely not. But of the big mass shootings that we've seen, you can almost guarantee that you would not have seen as many of them. And maybe if they would have happened, they would have been carried out in a less effective manner. The issue with AR-15s is that they are too effective because keep in mind, the AR-15 platform is built for military and like war zone scenarios, right? Like the entire premise of an AR-15 is to be a military war zone style rifle, but with kind of shaved down a little bit to fit into a civilian format, right? But regardless, we don't live in war zones. Therefore, meaning that the only use for it, the only reason why you would ever pick an AR-15 over a Glock 19 as an example is if you wanted to cause more harm. It's really wild to me whenever gun owners and gun rights advocates come in and go, you could do the same damage with an AR-15 that you could with a pistol. To which, I'm gonna be a bit reductive and be a little bit of a gamer boy when I say, when you go and play fucking Warzone, or when you go play Call of Duty, do you only play with pistols? No. We all understand that handguns, pistols, are not as effective as any AR style assault weapon, any of these platforms. They're just not. Anybody who says otherwise is being dishonest and being really fucking stupid to try and make a really obvious point that everybody else understands. I just can't. That's the lie that really bugs me the most. It's like, oh, well, it's not that much more. Yeah, it is. A long barrel rifle, one that is, I believe it has to be under 16 inches. So we're talking about 15 inches is going to give you accuracy that a 4 to 5 inch barrel on a pistol will not. And even then, I actually think 4 to 5 inches is being generous, but it's just not. That's absurd.
Based action, I think it will fall onto individual states to really write the direction of what our future looks like so that we can prevent tragedies like these.
Governor Jay Inslee says he will sign the bill into law and it will take effect immediately. In states with similar laws,
Jay Inslee sounds
litigation
based.
has followed. Joyce?
At least on this specific topic. I don't know the rest of his politics. Either way, point being, and this is kind of a bit of a, I've said it throughout this whole thing. I want people to be honest about what their intention is when it comes to advocating for unfettered gun rights, and reckon with the costs that we pay as citizens, as a society. And again, I think I said it to, I don't remember if I said it to Homeboy on Tuesday, but if you're okay with, what did I say? I think I said 2 dead, 10 injured or something just today. If you're like, that's fine, I got no problem with that, go forth. But don't look at me like I'm the crazy person because I don't like the idea of 2 people of losing their lives. 10 injured, we don't, maybe those 10 people survive, maybe they don't. And just so I can have my Beretta that's under my bed. Like, that's just, I don't know what to tell you. It's just, these are the costs. And you either want that cost to be lower at your expense, or you want that cost to be higher at your benefit. The thing that they tell, like at the end of all YouTube videos where they tell you to like click on one of these like things to watch more videos. Yeah, I've been meaning to film one of those. So that's what I was doing. I was just setting it up to film one.